Hey, how's it going? Welcome to From the Forums in game week 12. I love seeing what fans have got to say about their clubs in victory and in defeat. But which clubs are we going to zoom in on this week? Let's have a look how Liverpool fans are feeling after their 3-0 home defeat to Nottingham Forest. Obviously, it's a really tough year so far for Liverpool with the sad loss of Diogo Jota. That's clearly had an impact, I think, on the team, but there's a lot more to it than that, isn't there? Let's see what fans have got to say. I think Slot began to believe the hype after walking the league last year. Surprise, surprise, he never was that master tactician and his football was basically horrible. Well, he inherited a very good team, didn't he, from Jurgen Klopp, and I think that was what we saw in the season before. I think when they walked the league title, basically, was a team that was still very much charged on Jurgen Klopp's energy. And it feels like after the summer Liverpool have had, it's taken a lot of wind out of their sails, naturally. But so many changes to the team, so many incoming transfers is going to disrupt team harmony a little bit as well. This is no longer Jurgen Klopp's team. This is Arne Slot's team. It's been the Klopp feel has been diluted quite a lot. And I think that's made fans feel a little bit uneasy. And there's a few yearning for the Jurgen Klopp era to come back and for Klopp himself to return. It's harsh on Slot, I think. It's a difficult gig anyway, stepping into Klopp's shoes, but he did that so well last season. But yeah, the kind of football Liverpool are playing at the minute, there's so many players bang out of form and looking really, really poor. Big players as well, big names just not performing the way they should. Let's check another comments, shall we? Szoboszlai is the only flame he's had. He plays him at right back. It's actually dumb and it's likely the decision that's cost him today, possibly the full guillotine. I mean, yeah, there were better choices, weren't there, to go as natural right backs rather than probably the most creative attacking outlet in the minute in Szoboszlai. And it does make results like this look all the more baffling, doesn't it? Because one of their best players is stifled, really. And Slot not trusting the players he's got available that are probably more natural fits for right back. That's kind of baffling. Okay, final comment from the Anfield Noise forum. It's Slot's fault for playing them, especially Konaté, who looks very much like a player going through the motions so he doesn't spoil his big move. Yeah, Konaté's taken a lot of the stick from Liverpool fans lately, hasn't he? And I think rightly so. Although he has kind of become a scapegoat, which I think is unfair on him. There's a lot of players in that Liverpool team that have underperformed, not just Konaté, but he's not dispelling in any of these rumours that he's playing like this because he's basically out of the door mentally already, with Real Madrid obviously looking at him as a potential target. And that's probably turned his head, and it's understandable why fans are kind of frustrated at that. They've been down this road before with Trent Alexander-Arnold, haven't they? So yeah, to see Konaté performing so mediocrely, he's by no means the worst player in that team at the minute, but he's taken the stick. I think that's kind of unfair on him. But also I understand that from a Liverpool fan's perspective and how they would be feeling. Right, let's dive into another fan forum, shall we? A few weeks ago, actually, I looked at a Brighton fan forum after their victory in one particular game week, and it wasn't that optimistic or that complimentary about Fabian Hürzeler, which surprised me. But after their 2-1 win over Brentford at home, let's see what the North Stand chat forum has to say this time around. We were very poor for 75 minutes. Fantastic to look at the table today, but feel a lot is down to this season Fabian Hürzeler being a lucky manager, and long may it continue. Bit of a backhanded compliment there for Hürzeler, isn't it? Yeah, Brighton are fifth somehow in the table. That's how open it is in the top half this year. But yeah, the first half wasn't the best, but Hürzeler's been one of the best managers at turning that around mid-game. I think the frustration for Brighton fans is, why isn't he starting games on the front foot in the same way that he tries to chase games later on? Because Brighton would be a much stronger team if they just, from the first kickoff, went for it. And they're just not. It takes them a while to wake up, it feels. And this game was no different, really, against a really tough, scrappy Brentford team as well. Let's check out another comment. Second half was definitely better. Have to give Fab a lot of credit for the amount of times we've managed to turn it around in the second half. But why we played so slow for long periods, I don't know. I think that's just the nature of this game. It was a scrappy game. The conditions were awful, and I think the referee didn't really help the flow either. So it was a disjointed, scrappy game, to kind of give Hürzeler a little bit of credit there. But he ground out a victory, as he's done a few times this season, and that's why Brighton are fifth. And I think you need to be careful what you wish for sometimes, because if you're thinking Hürzeler's not the man and your team is fifth in the league, learn the lessons of other Premier League teams that have tried to overstretch their ambition and not realise that a good thing when they've got one, basically. Yes, the football might not be amazing sometimes, but I think it's still early days for Hürzeler. He's 50 games in, I think, into his Brighton career, which isn't a lot, but I think he's definitely shown what he could bring if given time and resources. Okay, one more Brighton comment, and it has to be about that guy, doesn't it? Danny Welbeck. Welbeck has 42 England caps and 16 goals. He also has tournament experience. See where this is going. If he stays fit and posts 10 plus goals this season with a few assists, then I think he's got to be in the conversation for a World Cup recall. Why not? I love Danny Welbeck. I think he's universally popular whichever clubs he's played for, isn't he? And as a Manchester United fan, I've got a lot of affection for Welbeck and was really sad to see him go when he did leave. And it's been 5 years now that he's been at Brighton, but he's established himself as one of the most important leaders in the team. One of the clutch players as well when the going gets tough. And I think when England has such a dearth of strikers that are in form, especially, you've got Harry Kane and then the drop off to an out of form Ollie Watkins or a Saudi-based Ivan Toney, it's quite steep. So if Welbeck does post 10 plus goals this season, why the hell not consider him? But there's not much time to get him involved, is there? That's the only problem. Okay, moving on to another fan forum, this time on the back of Newcastle 2, Man City 1, and that is Blue Moon Forum. Now, this isn't deliberate. I'm not doing this because as a United fan, I'm taking great pleasure in seeing Liverpool and Manchester City fans squirm. Honest. But I don't ever visit Man City fan forums, ever, for obvious reasons. They've had so much success over the years that it would be torture, basically, to see what fans have got to say. But in defeat, yeah, let's see how they respond to that, shall we? Our finishing was a joke. VAR in the Premier League are all bent. Savinho's absolutely shite. They should have fucked him off at the earliest opportunity. It's tough to bite my tongue here and read that comment about the Premier League being bent and say nothing. But I'm going to scoot past that comment and just focus on the finishing first of all, which definitely was problematic. I think Haaland looked isolated. The midfield was overrun and clogged by Newcastle, who did a great job at stymieing that. Savinho, I agree, looks a little bit of a toothless player, especially when you've got the likes of Doku who have played really well this season. He looks a mile away from Doku's progress, for example. I don't think it's panic stations for City yet. They'll always be a threat there or thereabouts, won't they? But it's definitely set them back in any kind of title race, this result, hasn't it? Okay, another comment, shall we? You know who we really, really missed today? Rodri. Gonzalez has been brilliant, but that was the ultimate we're really missing Rodri game. No control in the middle of the pitch. Yeah, fully agree. This Newcastle midfield is very strong, and I've said this in previous podcasts. When Newcastle have prevailed, it's generally the midfield that does it for them. And I think that was the case this time. It was, a difficult watch for City fans who have had to get used to life without Rodri for a long time. So using that still as an excuse, I think, is invalid. Him being back and fit again will obviously make a big difference to the midfield if he is the same player. But they've got the resources to get the right replacements in. Not Rodri level, clearly. That's really, really difficult to be able to kind of find somebody like him. But again, Gonzalez has been good. It was one of them games. I don't think it's worth overreacting over just a very good Newcastle midfield performance. Okay, one more City forum comment, shall we, just to finish this particular section. In away games, we just go back to this boring, toothless possession that leaves Haaland isolated and the defence exposed. Yes, I think this is a rational take on the way this game went. I think the way that City have attacked this season has got the best out of Erling Haaland, and that's shown in the amount of goals he's scored. He's been central to everything City have done. So when they do go back to this like possession-based play, it does really isolate Haaland and makes his chances few and far between. Yeah, this kind of was the game in a nutshell, I think, for City. Very little happening up front, a lot of possession, and Newcastle controlling the play, really. And yeah, it was a deserved win for Newcastle. I think City just need to take this one on the chin and move on, but they're not doing that. Okay, final game from the forums this weekend is Burnley 0, Chelsea 2. I'm going to the Shed End forum to see what Chelsea fans think of this victory that leaves them second somehow in the Premier League. Liverpool and City losing is massive for us. Big week ahead with Barcelona and Arsenal to come. Yeah, it was a huge week in terms of gaining real momentum in the Premier League and a season when they've not been amazing. And I think their fans will admit that. So second in the league is massive with 2 huge tests now. How Chelsea fare against Barcelona and Arsenal will shape and define their season to come. So certainly in the short term, definitely. They haven't looked amazing, Chelsea, and they beat a very average-looking Burnley team 2-0 in a game that should have been kind of a formality, really, with the players that they've got. But yeah, the other teams around them are doing them huge favours in looking better than they actually are right now, it's fair to say. Okay, another comment from Chelsea fans. What if we actually won the Premier League this season? Possibly the worst and dullest team ever to take the title, maybe. I don't think they'll win the Premier League. I'm going to put you out of your misery there. And I don't think Chelsea fans really think they're going to win the Premier League either, do they? they're lacking that quality, I think, and that consistency, more importantly, to take the title from the favourites at the minute, who are Arsenal. And I think how they play against Arsenal in the game to come will be really telling about the gap between the two teams. Yes, Chelsea have dug deep, and they did this game as well. They dug really deep to grab that victory against the Burnley team that were quite resolute. But are they title challengers? No, I don't think anybody in the Chelsea camp is considering that as a possibility this season. Okay, final comment from the Shed End forum. That was great from GW12, done more than Delap did all game. Yeah, Liam Delap's flattered to deceive a bit, hasn't he? He's been out of the team for a bit through suspension and through injury, of course, but it's not really helped his case really to settle into the team better. But yeah, a great impact from GW12 and a great assist for the second goal from Enzo Fernandez as well to round a really good game. That's all I've got time for From the Forums this week. If you like what you see and like what you hear, you know what to do. Hit like, hit follow, hit subscribe wherever you're listening to or watching this. And until next week, see you soon. Thanks a lot.